is having a wonderful evening. Thursday night football here in my own home state. I'm not even interested to watch them. They're doing terribly. To this day, I'm still going to regret that they didn't go after Aaron Rodgers, especially with the head coach being a former coach at Green Bay. Makes no sense. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about sports and all that right here, right now. But I am going to continue one more video that this just keeps on intriguing me for some reason. The guy that I found who tells the stories, though, he does it like in a very, almost similar to how Mike O is from that chapter, just funny, sarcastic sometimes, just almost like they were made out of this, they were, cut from the same cloth. So this one, and of course I lost it because I accidentally shut down my page, or X'd out, but I'll find it here.
I believe it was Albert Einstein who said, "There ain't no mystery like an internet mystery."
Okay, so here we go. Sorry, he jumped ahead. I didn't realize he was going to come out popping like that. So this is to Dantafias, I believe. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like I said, funny guy. I would suggest sticking till the end. It's an hour and 19 minutes long, so I'm going to chop it up. But hope you guys enjoy.
I believe it was Albert Einstein who said, "There ain't no mystery like an internet mystery." Since the internet was invented back in 1990 or something, there have been many puzzling questions that have yet to be answered. Who invented Bitcoin? What's Obama's last name? Will my dad ever come back with the milk? Well, guys, today we're going to discuss some of the enigmas that can be found on the web. I'm Dan Tavius. How you doing? And today we're going to be covering the second half of the Internet Mysteries Iceberg, so if you haven't watched that, please go watch it. But also watch this, alright? Watch both videos. And if you enjoy them, maybe, like and subscribe with notifications on. Please. I owe a lot of money to the IRS, and I need this video to do well, or I'm going to have to change my identity again. Anyways, guys, this is an iceberg video, which means I'm going to start talking about more well-known internet mysteries and end with things you may have never heard of. And I really hope you guys enjoy it, because this is going to be the last iceberg video I ever do, alright? So enough jibber-jabber, let's jump right into this thing.
This video is brought to you by Manscaped. Guys, if I sound a little bit weird and I look a little bit sweaty, it's because I got the COVID, alright? I went 2 years, but I finally got it. But that's not going to stop me from talking about one of the best sponsors this channel has ever had, Manscaped. I gotta be honest with you guys. I spent most of my life being against, trimming the bush, alright? I've been walking around looking like Zohan from the hit movie Don't Mess with the Zohan starring Adam Sandler. I used to think ladies love the bush.
Usually I would fast forward through an advertisement, but he's funny. He cracks me up.
Until, I've actually asked one, and turns out it's not true. That's why I partner with Manscaped. Manscaped offers the best tools for grooming and hygiene to keep you looking and smelling like the exact opposite of a Reddit moderator. And they actually hooked me up with a bunch of cool stuff from their all-in-one Performance Package 4.0. So let's take a gander, shall we?
Alright, let's see what we got here. We got a little nose trimmer, that's pretty good. I could use that. We got this grooming kit. Very good, very good. Alright, let's see what's in the pièce de résistance. Your balls will thank you. Yes, they will. All right. So let's... Oh, is that what I think it is? Is that the Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer? Ooh, I can't wait to use this bad boy tonight. This is nice, man. This is actually very, good quality. Oh, and check it out. It has cordless charging. This is straight from the year 3022, dog. We're living in the future. Oh, and what do we have here? Ball deodorant and ball toner? You'd think you might not need this, but trust me, fellas. You do.
Guys, after filming that B-roll footage, I actually tried the product out for myself, and I gotta say, my balls are as smooth as eggs, and they glisten like rare gems. So if you want your balls to be smooth as eggs like me, then check out the link in the description of this video, or use code DANTAVIUS at manscaped.com. Right now, they're running a very special offer where anybody who signs... And that's not all. You also receive a no-chafe by women who... Buy this for your man, alright? Again, guys, please check out manscaped.com, code Dantavius, or the link in the description of this video. I would appreciate it so much. And thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. You guys are the best. Anyways, let's get back to it.
Go for a Punch, aka Sako Sanobashi, is a lost anime. And as with most lost media, the search for this...
Okay, I don't know how many people that are subscribed to me watch anime, but I don't get it. What is like the big draw from it for those people? Because I know it's like extremely popular, like at Comic-Con or other events similar to Comic-Con. Is it just like, I don't know, I'm just trying to understand like what's so in, I mean, you know, cartoons, yes, we growing up, you know, we loved cartoons, but I never remember people, you know, making or trying to make, you know, bodysuits or replica looking freaking now I can't even think of what they're called, what the Ghostbusters use, Proton Pack. Never seen anybody try to make those. Maybe later on, you know, 2000s or so, but man, you see a lot of people dress up like these, you know, anime characters. People getting off on them, which is just weird to me, awful weird. But anyways, if anybody knows, let me know what the big deal is about anime.
Anime began on 4chan's X-board. On February 2015, somebody asked, most effed up thing you've ever seen on the deep web. And just read through some of these comments if you weren't already convinced that 4chan users are the biggest degenerates on the planet. After combing through some truly horrendous stuff, you'll come across this comment. Some weird anime about naked girls stuck in a large bathroom having a philosophical debate about never getting out of the room. After losing hope for some days, everything goes downhill. They just start screaming and yelling, then they all commit suicide, either by smashing their heads on the floor or scratching their necks to bloody pieces. I cried myself to sleep right after watching that vid because I just didn't know anymore. It was goddamn horrifying. Haven't found or seen it again. The name of the vid was something along the lines of Go for a Punch or something. Damn, man, that is like the second most terrifying cartoon I've ever heard of. The first one being... Somebody then asked 4chan's anime boards if they've ever heard of this elusive anime, and somebody suggested that the name might be Saki Sanobashi, which apparently translates to extending the difference. Whatever the fuck that means. So, after the initial post, this topic would pique the interest of a few people for a few weeks on 4chan. But the search for this disturbing anime wouldn't really take off until Justin Wang made a video about it.
We're going searching for the lost anime, Saki Sanobashi, aka Go for a Punch.
This video led to more people than ever obsessing over the true origins of Saki Sanobashi. But not long after its release, somebody would make a post on Reddit claiming that he made the whole thing up. He also posted evidence that he was the OP by providing images used on the original post with timestamps showing that he had these photos saved on his phone before the post was made. But that's really easy to fake, so take that with a grain of salt. So that's basically where we are today. There haven't been a lot of new developments. It might be real, it might be fake, but one thing is for certain, people will never stop trying to find it. By the way, guys, I don't know if it's super noticeable, but I feel like the lighting on my camera keeps getting like darker and brighter, so I apologize for that. But anyways, let's move on. Persistent Trip, Datura, refers to a video of a shirtless man talking to a camera. He explains that he's been under the effects of some drug for over 2 months now.
Don't seem to be coming down. It's been about 2 months. Can't really go out. Been spending a lot of time in the basement.
Whoa, spending a lot of time in the basement? Not going out? This is truly terrifying. I don't know what drug this guy took, but it turned him into a Reddit mod. He goes on to say that he feels like he's never going to come down. Now, I don't know who that man is, or if he ever recovered from that bad trip, but in the description of this video it says, this video was uploaded to YouTube several years ago, and I haven't been able to find it recently. As I recall, the uploader claimed it was found footage. He said he found the tape on a park bench or something, and was concerned about the person depicted therein. So, this is pretty mysterious. I highly doubt that they found it on a bus bench, but I can't really find more info on it either way, so I mean, that's pretty much it. I hope the dude got help for whatever he was going through, and, don't do drugs. Iceman Throwaway 123. I previously talked about this one in my disturbing Reddit post, Iceberg, so I'm not going to get too into it here, but here's the abridged version. Reddit user Iceman Throwaway 123 made a Reddit post with the title, 12 mysterious and identical stores open on my street. What could be happening? In his post, he talks about how a dozen stores suddenly opened up near his home. All of these stores were identical to each other and had generic names. He never saw any customers in any of these establishments, and if you were to go inside one of these places, you would find very little actual products, and the products they did have were mostly expired food and other produce. Now, to me, this is all pretty obvious, okay? I know a thing or two about money laundering. Legally, I can't get into it. But trust me, I know a thing or two. And it's very obvious that this is a classic money laundering scheme. But I'm pretty sure this post is fake because I don't think any criminal enterprise of this size that could afford to do something like this would be this stupid and obvious with it. Celine Delgado Lopez. Now, if you're under the age of 40 and your IQ is over 40, you probably don't use Facebook much. But many people who still use this godforsaken app claim that they have an unknown person on their friends list. This person goes by the name Celine Delgado Lopez. And the weird thing is about this woman is that you can't unfriend her. The only way to get rid of this woman is by blocking her. Now, when I first heard about this, I was like, man, that's a load of baloney. That's straight up malarkey. But then I had to check for myself, and sure as shit, right there, as you can see, all these other people have add friend next to the name, but this one particular account, Celine Delgado Lopez, says view profile. So it looks like we are friends, but I don't remember ever adding this woman as far as I know. But then again, I did a lot of weird shit I don't remember back when I was addicted to nitrous oxide, so who knows? It probably happened around then. Now guys, I'm sure if you check your Facebook profiles right now and you check your friends list, there's a good chance that Celine is there. So who is this mysterious woman, and how do you explain her being on so many people's friends lists? Well, it turns out this was all a social experiment seeing how dumb internet users are, and the answer is incredibly. The reason it says view profile instead of add friend is because there's an option in your privacy settings where you can disable anyone being able to send you a friend request. So the add message means you need to message them first to ask them to add you. But like I said, Facebook users have the intelligence of a fucking leather boot, so they thought it meant that they were friends with her. So the only mystery here is, how are these people still allowed to vote? Now this name Celine Delgado Lopez, or Selena Delgado Lopez. Am I fucking dyslexic, dude? Is it Selena? Good grief. Anyways, this goes deeper than the Facebook thing. There's a Mexican TV channel called Channel 5, which is like the Mexican version of Cartoon Network. They play cartoons for children. But for some reason at like 3 a.m. they'll play some creepy shit, kind of like Adult Swim, except they don't have an adult-oriented programming block. They'll just play creepy shit for kids, which is weird. But anyways, at one point, they played this really disturbing segment which showed a bunch of missing persons. And then if you keep watching, you'll see that one of the missing persons had a very familiar name.
Selena Delgado López, de 18 años, se extravió el 22 de abril en la delegación Álvaro Obregón.
People
but
try.
I never heard of her being part of being added as a friend. But I've heard, who did it? It was either like maybe Nexpo or Night Minds. Yeah, it was Night Minds that did a story about this. And yeah, I mean, it's just so different from, the type of information different content creators provide. So I want to hear his version because I already heard one version. If you guys are interested in the dark, creepy stuff as well, check out Night Minds. He has that voice for it. He's just, they like watching and going over creepy pastas and, all these ARGs. For you that don't know, that's alternate reality game. Very off the wall, but entertaining nonetheless.
Tried to find this woman, but there's no trace of her anywhere, at least not on the internet. So it's unknown if she actually ever existed or not. It's also believed by some that the photo isn't even real, like it was drawn or generated by AI, because it's kind of got that weird uncanny valley vibe to it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to this one. The Area 51 caller. Area 51 is a highly secretive United States Air Force base in the Nevada desert. Despite rumors about aliens and weird experiments, the US government didn't officially recognize its existence until 2013, which I actually wasn't even familiar with until I started looking into this. Prior to that, radio host Art Bell aired a segment on his show where he asked...
I talk about him all the time. Cool as hell guy. I got to talk to him in person. An ex-girlfriend friend of mine, her parents knew him. And when we went over for dinner one night when we were out of town, he was there, and just an interesting, smart man. I mean, really weren't talking about like what he does and the stuff that he covers, but he did mention and ask, what was my thoughts or opinions on, ghosts or shadow people. He really liked that subject, shadow people. UFOs, didn't really mention that because him and his wife at the time, they both had witnessed something massive. Because he lives, like, not too far away from Area 51, or had lived, excuse me, he passed away. But as they were driving down one of the desolate highways, said all of a sudden they just saw this huge, I mean, he's saying like 2 football fields huge, that is just gliding along, and they stop and just stare up in the car, and of course the sky is blacked out from this thing just moving, and when it finally kind of like passed them at this low altitude, he said, I knew for a fact from that point on, this wasn't a blimp, this wasn't anything underpowered, like a jet engine or anything like that, propellers, it was totally silent. So that was always such a neat story and unique for me to listen to. But yeah, he's awesome. Art Bell is definitely cool. So rest in peace, man.
Current or former employees of Area 51 to call in and shed some light on what the heck they're doing in there. But I don't think Art was prepared for the shit show he was about to witness.
A former employee. Okay, what we're thinking...
Okay, when this is over, I'm going to tell you the truth on it. Let me start it over again. So, like he said, he gave an invite out to people that if you've ever worked at Area 51 or knew people that worked at Area 51 and had divulged anything to you, give him a call so you could let me know, And so he did that like on a Friday night where it was like a lot of open line night. And if he doesn't say it here, I'll tell you exactly what had happened afterwards. Because it is weird what happens with this guy speaking, but yeah, it was like a month later or so.
But I don't think Art was prepared for the shit show he was about to witness.
A former employee. Okay, what we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51.
So at this point, I was thinking, anybody can call in and say whatever horse shit they want. And this guy was probably just, doing a little trolling.
We do a little trolling. It's called we do a little trolling.
But then something weird happened. Apparently, Art's entire transmission went down during the call with this fella.
The disasters that are coming, I started getting...
I will say, if the government did take down this transmission to stop that guy from talking, then they're fucking idiots, alright? Because it just brought so much more attention to this than there would have been otherwise. I mean, I wouldn't be talking about it right now if that didn't happen. Over the years, many people have claimed credit for this call, most notably comic book writer Brian Klaas. He claims that the call was just a prank that went too far, and he even called back later to admit that he was just trolling. But the weird thing is, despite the fact that he fessed up to it, he says he still has no idea how the transmission cut out like that. Mysterious. Jack Froh...
So what he just said is exactly what I was going to say. He called back like a few weeks later, a month later or so, when Art Bell was, mentioning the fact that, yeah, like, if he would have played even more of the clip, when Art Bell comes back on, he's like, wow, he's like, we're now on backup power. That's never happened. And then they're talking to another guy, and he's like, did you hear what that last guy was saying? He's like, yeah, that was just pretty weird and out there. So this guy comes back on about maybe a month later, and when he fesses up, he's like, how can we tell? And so he starts doing that voice again, like if he's crying and, you know, like afraid or upset. I mean, it was him to a T, but it is true that he didn't realize how far the prank would go, because with something just at the right time cutting off transmission, that obviously, you know, you're gonna think, oh yeah, that's definitely a government conspiracy. But it was a crazy story at that time.
Fruse? I don't know how to pronounce. Jack Froese, that's how I'm going to say it. Back in 2011, people began receiving emails from somebody named Jack Froese, which wouldn't be that weird, except for the fact that Jack Froese had passed away months prior. Now, this is very strange because typically, only people who are alive can send emails. The first email was sent to Jack's friend Tim Hart. It read, I'm at your house, clean your fucking attic. Tim said that this was an inside joke between the two of them that nobody else knew about. Then, his cousin Jimmy received an email as well, which read, I knew you were going to break your ankle. Tried to warn you, gotta be careful. Jimmy had broken his ankle a week before. Now, this could very well be one of his family members logging into his email and sending messages to people, but his family claims that nobody knew his passwords, so do with that what you will. Ritual at CERN. CERN is the European Organization for Nuclear Research. It's one of the most sophisticated and well-funded research centers in the world. Here, all of Europe's top scientists work around the clock to figure out new ways to create Adidas tracksuits. It's also home to the Large Hadron Collider. Oh, and apparently they also conduct satanic rituals there. So what you're seeing here is a group of hooded individuals conducting some sort of human sacrifice in front of the Hindu god Shiva. Now, it turns out this was actually real. Like, nobody was actually harmed. It wasn't a real sacrifice. But the people in this video were actually CERN scientists who claimed that this was just a weird prank.
It was. God
damn, I bet Alex Jones had a field day when this came out. CERN actually released an official statement regarding this video, stating that this video is a work of fiction. CERN fills up with new visitors over the summer and users from across the world who come to CERN as part of their work, and some of whom occasionally let their sense of humor go too far. And that is what happened on this occasion. CERN does not condone this type of spoof. Now, rumors were already swirling about CERN before this, but this only fanned the flames. People in conspiracy circles were saying that they were trying to use the Large Hadron Collider to open a portal to hell Doom style, or summon the Antichrist or Cthulhu or whatever. I don't know about all that, but definitely not a good look. Oh, and I should mention that the statue of Shiva wasn't something that these scientists built themselves. It was actually a gift from the Indian government when they started working with CERN. So at best, this is culturally insensitive. At worst, they're opening a portal to the dark dimension where they're going to force us to be slaves to some cosmic horror. Fun time kids care. Okay, I'm actually going to make a whole video on this one, so I'm not going to get too much into detail here. Somewhere in Salt Lake City, Utah, there's an odd-looking grain building.
It's supposed to be a child's daycare center, and yeah, it's crazy.
The sign of this building says it's a daycare, fun time kids care, but some people believe that there are no kids having fun in there, if you know what I'm saying. In 2015, Reddit user Disco Godfather 6922 made a post on the Salt Lake City forum with the title, "What's the deal with this place? Lived across the street from it for 5 years, never seen a kid in there." OP posted this thread to get some answers, but it only raised more questions, and it kept getting weirder and weirder. The top comment says, "I am going to advise you guys to stop looking into this place." Cryptic. "Why is that?" another one says. "CIA black site." Bro, I love how you can just say CIA black site without anything backing it up and people would just believe it. You gotta love the internet, man. After this post was made, it began migrating from the Salt Lake City forums to a bunch of conspiracy subreddits where all sorts of theories began to take root, ranging from the place being a CIA black site, like I just mentioned, to a trafficking ring, to money laundering front for the cartels, to an organ harvesting operation, and finally, a witness protection safe house. Oh, and There's a bunch of other ones actually, but the main theory surrounding this place is that it was a child trafficking ring. It even spread to 4chan where one guy actually went there and started taking pictures of the inside through the windows. And by golly, if this place was truly trafficking kids, then it had to be stopped. So naturally a Facebook group was formed. Storm Fun Time Kids Care. They can't stop us all. And I'm not entirely sure what happened, but if it's anything like the other times a bunch of schmucks on the internet tried to storm something, nothing happened. But after this story started making its rounds, the Utah Department of Health actually investigated the place. And according to them, it's a legitimate business. They also said the reason people don't see kids is because they only take care of like 1 or 2 kids at a time. It's not really like a big place. Well, I don't know, man. This could all just be a massive cover-up. Like I said, though, I'm going to make another video on this in the future, so subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss it. John.com is a bizarre website with a bunch of random images on it that when clicked redirect you to a page where you have to put in an access code. It seems like some weird ARG, but the general consensus is that it's just a troll website. Like, nobody's been able to figure out what the access codes are. And I think that's probably the case. It's just a troll website, so not much more to it. Joanna Lopez. On January 24th, 1989, an NBC News affiliate in Chicago signed off the air and displayed an image of a missing person along with a phone number to call with any information regarding the individual shown in the photo. On the initial viewing, you probably noticed that this photo is creepy as shit. Like, this doesn't even look like a human. This looks like an alien from the planet Fart Salon 5 or something. How is anybody supposed to identify this shadowy figure? Like, what is this shit, man? It's also curious that they also didn't list any details about this woman. Her height, weight, age, nothing. It's just a blurry-ass, dark-ass photo that looks like a goddamn extraterrestrial. Typically, when they would do a missing persons call-out, it would be something like this.
Missing Juanita Estevez, now age 16, last seen Yuba City, California, November 27, 1984. Call 800-843-5678.
Then, in 1991, they posted the same image again, but this time it was a little bit less blurry, but it still doesn't look human. Now, the weird thing about this whole situation is it's almost as if Joanna Lopez doesn't exist. She's not in any missing persons databases, and there's no mention of any newspapers or articles of Joanna Lopez going missing around that time. Now, a lot of time would go by with no new developments in this case until July 24, 2021, when Reddit user Proud Morningstar came across a Jane Doe whose body was found in Chicago in 1994. According to the Doe report, this is an unknown woman. She was 5'1", African American, and between the ages of 18 and 22. And based on the photos from this website, she did have familiar features to the missing persons photo, minus the giant alien eyes. Actually, I think the reason the eyes look like that is because she was just wearing those big sunglasses that were popular in the 80s. Anyways, that's one possibility, but a few months ago there was another development on the Joanna Lopez subreddit. Somebody claims to have contacted a woman named Joanna Lopez, who apparently ran away from home in 1989. The woman was supposed to call back the person investigating, but that ended up not happening. So, as it stands, we don't know who Joanna Lopez really is, if she existed, and why the heck her eyes look like that. Okay, the next 2 entries on this iceberg are Lake City Quiet Pills and Captain Coochie's Key Lime Pie. I'm going to very briefly talk about these since I covered them pretty extensively in my disturbing Reddit post iceberg video. Lake City Quiet Pills started off with a Reddit post announcing that another Redditor had passed away. In the post, it mentions that the newly deceased Redditor ran That Old Guy's Image host, aka LakeCityQuietPills.com. Well, people looked into it and they discovered that this website was actually a front for paid assassins who may have been behind the assassination of Hamas officer Mahmoud al-Mabhouh. Did I pronounce that right? Let me know in the comments. Anybody who speaks Arabic. Anyways, Captain Coochie's Key Lime Pie was a series of strange and often nonsensical posts made about a restaurant called Captain Coochie's Key West Cafe. These posts would frequently appear on random forums and message boards, and the restaurant that was being mentioned in these messages had been closed down for years at that point, so nobody knows what that was all about. Probably just really like key lime pie. Lorenz Scott's final post. So, Mick Jagger is one of those guys that whenever you hear his name, you're like, he's still alive? How? Isn't he like 114 years old? Well, he is still alive, in case you were wondering, and back in the 2000s, Mick Jagger dated a woman named Lorenz Scott for about 10 years, and this woman wasn't just Mick Jagger's guma, okay? She had an illustrious career as a stylist and fashion designer working with some of the biggest celebrities and models in the world. But in 2014, she unfortunately decided to take her own life. On March 17, 2014, Loren was found by her assistant in her New York apartment. She had hanged herself. Now, Loren was a very private person in life, and her death was no different. She didn't leave a note, and the reasons for her decision are a mystery to this day. But the weird thing is, after she had already passed away, this post was made to her Facebook account. So, as you guys can see, it's a photo of dresses of hers hanging from a tree, and the photo is especially eerie since she passed away by hanging herself. And the creepiness was only compounded by the fact that she posted this the day after she passed. It was most likely scheduled in advance by her, so what was the purpose of this photo? Was she trying to tell us something? Was this her final note? I don't know. Alex from Tennessee. This one's probably going to be the creepiest one so far. And like 90% of all other weird stuff on the internet, this story begins on 4chan with the post, "By this rubble your prize awaits. Park nearby and walk to this point for a secret. It's under plastic at this point. Good luck." The location of the prize seems to be by some abandoned warehouses and a junkyard, and surprisingly, no one took OP up on his offer, which made him very frustrated. No one shall claim the prize? Time to try other websites. The OP then starts posting some disturbing images, one of which is of what looks like a decrepit hand with the text, "Little friend fly away, why is no one coming, see?" And this one, which looks like a decomposed skeleton, "My friend moves, my friend is not the prize." And the last photo is of a black garbage bag with the caption, "I've had my friend for a long time now. Not what matters today. I need people to come." A week later, some Chad decided to finally take OP up on his offer, a fellow by the name of Alex from Tennessee. So he goes in armed with nothing but a switchblade and a baton. What? Dude, you're from Tennessee. Get a fucking gun, alright? You can walk into a Walgreens in Tennessee, walk out with a tube of Bengay and a gun, you idiot. Anyways, Alex posts on 4chan, "Alex from Tennessee here. I am at the location of the creepy guy. Came early." And then he proceeds to comment a bunch of updates with photos. So I'm just going to do a slideshow with the photos he posts along with the text that went with them. Now guys, I'm pretty sure that 99% of this was all a load of donkey shit, and my conclusion was only reinforced when I came across this now unlisted video from a YouTuber called Noah, who actually explored this location pretty extensively. And in the video, all he found was some homeless people's shelters and not much else. The Butcher. So, I'm not sure if they do this anymore,
Okay,
but back in the day,
cut it in half
Nickelodeon...
from right here. Oh, actually, let's go like 5
used
minutes.
to play some short films, and some of them were apparently pretty creepy, especially for kids. One of these creepy films was known online as The Butcher, so we're not exactly sure what the original video was, if it existed at all, but here's what we do know. The existence of this video was first mentioned in 2019 on the Tip of My Tongue subreddit by user DeadUser00. I used to live in South America around the year 2001 to 2004. Nickelodeon had non-original short films. One short film caught my attention for being way darker than any of the other things on Nickelodeon. The opening scene was the title of the movie in white in a black background. I believe it was called The Butcher. The film is black and white, and there is a hand with a butcher's knife butchering animals made out of real bones. I believe all animals are small ones, like a bird, rabbit, dog, etc. They look like this. The video had no dialogue, only music. I also remember seeing bones inside glasses, and I believe the animal bones fused together into some abomination. Now, people in the comments suggested a bunch of different videos. This one in particular seemed like it was very close to what OP was describing. But even after about a dozen suggestions, OP shot them all down. In the meantime, it was discovered that Nickelodeon and CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Channel, had a partnership in the early 2000s where they would play blocks of short films. This discovery made OP's claims much more plausible, and at this point, people were desperate to find this video. The National Film Board of Canada even got involved and tried to find it. But sadly, not much progress was made. That is until about a year later, OP gave an update on the search. That's when he confirmed with 90% certainty that the film was probably a short artistic film called Butcher's Hook by Simon Pummel, made in 1996. Dead user stated, "Here is the checklist. Small animals made out of real bones. Butcher played by a real person. Butcher gets attacked by his creation. Black and white. Music, no dialogue. Bones inside glasses. and finally stop motion. Now, it's still unknown where he actually saw this, if it was on Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, or some other channel, but he even reached out to the creator of the short, and he stated he doesn't know either, because he just sold the rights. So, at this point, it's pretty much solved. Bobby Joe Blythe, this one is straight up out of Cobra Kai, and it's exactly as fucked up as Cobra Kai would be if it was real life. The video you're watching was posted to YouTube years ago by karate instructor Billy Joe Blythe, who filmed it all the way back in 1984. Blythe had invited a homeless man with mental issues into his gym one day. The man claimed to be a karate master who was taught martial arts by none other than Jesus Christ himself.
He has no master.
My master is Jesus Christ.
His master is Jesus Christ.
So Blythe brought him into the dojo so he could demonstrate his skills by sparring with one of his students. So they started a pretty standard sparring session, nothing too crazy, but the situation quickly devolved into the student beating the shit out of the homeless guy.
Don't do that anymore.
Basically, the student takes the guy down to the ground, and the homeless guy pretty much taps out, but the karate student then starts dropping some atomic knees right on his head, and it's very graphic and very disturbing. After the dude is lying on the ground bleeding all over the place, his other students drag the man out by his legs and throw him in a dumpster. Now, it's not 100% known what happened after this, but the way the homeless dude was getting beat down, it's very possible that he didn't survive the encounter. But I don't think Bobby would have posted this to his YouTube channel had the man passed away, so I'm going to assume he survived, but probably got permanent brain damage. This was the description on the original YouTube video before it got taken down. This dummy was in my shopping center while I was on a bodyguard job in Washington, D.C. The guy was in a Pizza Hut eating pizza off the plates of others, and the Pizza Hut manager ran him out with a pistol. Later, the very same day, police officers were called to remove him from a nearby pharmacy after being caught reaching into a customer's purse. A short time after that, he visited a Napa Auto Parts store next to the karate dojo and told management he planned on teaching in that dojo and that Jesus taught him. The Napa guys told him he was confused, their polite way of warning him against such an action. But not wanting to miss the show, they told the man that they would close early just to watch and that he must not know the owner, which is nobody to play with. Needless to say, the police pulled him out of the dumpster behind my karate dojo where he was neatly placed. Semper Fi to all my Marine brothers. The karate student in the white is also a Marine sergeant and a brand new black belt. Never get stupid with a Marine. You could get jacked up and still have your clock stopped. God damn, bro, that's some John Kreese psycho shit, man. This guy's like John Kreese in real life, except way worse, somehow. Luckily, after this happened, Bobby Joe and the student were both arrested and charged with... Nah, I'm kidding. Literally nothing happened to them. They faced absolutely no consequences. Apparently, another investigation was opened into the incident after this video started making its rounds on the internet, but I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is over by now, man, and it's not exactly sure where Bobby Joe and his students are right now, but mixedmartialarts.com says that Bobby Joe Blythe currently resides in Hanford, California. He stopped teaching karate and became a pilot. His efforts as a pilot appear to parallel his record in martial arts. The main difference being that the victim is now himself. Blythe is known to have crashed in 2003 and 2011, sustaining head injuries in both. The first time they were so severe he required an airlift. So maybe there is a little justice after all. I couldn't find anything about this anywhere on the internet, so take it with a lump of salt. Yeah, damn man, I thought John Kreese was bad, but to my knowledge he never beat up a mentally impaired homeless man. But hey, who knows what's going to happen in season 4.
Alright, I'm going to cut it in half right there. And see if we get some views on it. And afterwards, yeah, we'll go from there for the rest of the stories. So until that time, here in a few, like maybe an hour or so, peace, and I'll be back with the results, or not necessarily the results, but the movies behind the competition that I held, which no one but one or two people tried, unfortunately, but hey, it's neither here nor there. You know, I could attest, I stick to my word, so if you ever want to play in one of these competitions and I'm offering up a prize, believe me, I will absolutely give it to you. So until I come back with those results, I'll do the second half afterwards. So see you soon. Peace.